All right. Real quick. Won't be before you long. Hopefully you can hear me good. Just getting dressed, just got out of the shower, got back from a workout. I had a thought. I was listening to a video, a YouTube video, of course, and they were talking about the power to see the invisible or making the invisible appear or making it accessible to you and going through the steps that were very similar to the 6 steps of manifestation that I've been going over for now 12 days. Okay. I think, yeah, today is the 12th day. But as this voice was going over the steps to make the invisible visible, all right, something struck me, and it was not an apple. Something struck me. These teachings, these demonstrations, these experiences, experimentations are not new. They are not new. This stuff has been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Okay. And if not millions of years, right? This stuff has been around. This is not new. This stuff I'm demonstrating, teaching here, going through the consecrations and all that kind of stuff, fasting and all that stuff has been around for many, many, many years. So none of this is new. Guess what? What does that tell us? That somebody else was already doing this. So neither of us in this paradigm or in this generation can claim to be the progenitor of these teachings, right? What we are doing is we are merely, uh, reestablishing practices, perhaps Eastern, whatever. Um, we're reestablishing these practices. We're revisiting old, archaic, and established principles, doctrines, precepts, religions, traditions. We're just revisiting. Okay? There's writings. We've watched demonstrations such as one of the greatest martial artists of all times, Bruce Lee, and his writings are still out here now. So he studied this stuff at length, the abilities that can be unlocked in our bodies. This man was, I believe, about 155 pounds, could do some things that some feats that we would say are miraculous today. You know what I mean? The disciplines, of monks and the ninja and the Shaolin and all them. We've seen movies about that stuff back in the 80s. But so this stuff is not new, is the point. All right. So with that being said, if you can agree with me on that, then we can move forward and realize with real eyes that if this has been around for ages, generations, then, and if in fact this stuff is true, meaning some monks, are so conditioned and disciplined that they can take their palm and break bricks, that they can take major trauma being inflicted upon their genitalia. You might have seen some of that. That they can be lean against a sword, and their chi and their body force and what have you will not allow their skin to be pierced as they lean on things, on swords and balance on fingertips and things like that. They're just that conditioned. Okay. And it goes on and on. You will have to do your own research and study into some of these miraculous things. Hey, look, if you don't want to, entertain that, that's up to you. But it does exist. I assure you of that. Please, if you will, look up some of the practices and the disciplines of the Shaolin, the monks, the ninja, all of those things. Look at those. Look up and see some of the things that they're doing. It's unbelievable, on video and things on YouTube. and people are demonstrating breaking bricks with a 1-inch punch and all that kind of stuff. That takes a special type of force that is harnessed through much discipline. Okay, breathing techniques. How powerful is that? Okay, and so with that being said, once again, now let's bring it home, because if in fact this stuff actually exists, if in fact this is a practice by those who are well versed and schooled in these disciplines, and they are making these things happen, if that be the case, then that means that if someone were to codify, write it down, like as Bruce Lee did in a lot of his teachings, if someone were to write it down, to practice it, to keep it as esoteric information to themselves and to their particular ilk or followers, and this goes on and is perpetuated throughout time immemorial for thousands of years, for hundreds of years, whatever, then this becomes sacred power, sacred knowledge, sacred information. Now, let's take it a little step further and bring it even closer to home. Do you not think that these so-called elitists, those who have this uncanny ability to control the masses, the few control the masses, do you not think that they have some of these secret practices, secret books, and what have you? Think about some of the things, the claims you have heard, and some of the things that we are here professing that we are going to experiment with after conditioning and disciplining ourselves, eating correctly, breathing techniques, meditations, keeping pure and abstaining from certain things, recreational things. Okay, think of some of the things that we aspire to do. We are looking to take things that are immaterial, the elements that make up things that you don't see, the matter, and we're looking to bring it into fruition. We're looking to bring it into the material, and we know that it's possible. All you have to do is take a peruse through some of these videos of some of these people who are testifying that when they discipline themselves, they recondition their mind and their way of thinking, they change, they learn to deal with the positive and the negative. They learn to speak things into existence, to manifest things in their body, whether it be ailments that were quote unquote healed because of their new practices and traditions, or anything similar. We know that it's true. You have perhaps experienced some things that astounded you because you merely only thought them and they came true. I've experienced that. And so what I'm saying is, if in fact these things are so, if in fact these things are possible, if in fact through conditioning and through discipline and consecration, we can duplicate, replicate, and create these type of scenarios in our lives, creating the material from what is immaterial, then how much power would one have if they have the original writings that have all the demonstrations, the picture, the graphics from the authors themselves, who are the ones, the progenitors of the practices and what have you? Someone has these writings. Someone knows that this stuff happens this way. Now, in closing, what happens when these elitists get a hold of that information? What happens when they employ these strategies on otherwise ignorant individuals who might think this stuff is merely fiction? How might they be empowered? What might that look like? Would that look like, them saying something like control everything, own nothing, or own nothing, control everything? Because why? Because they figured out an algorithm, okay, within, or a loophole in the law system, or that is established by men. See, this is a higher thought process that basically exempts them from mere man-made laws in a sort of way. All of these teachings that you hear about from like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and The Art of War, and what's the other one? The Laws of Power and all that kind of stuff. I forget the number. 48 Laws of Power, 51 Laws of Power, something to that effect. Where do you think that's coming from? That's right. This is old, ancient information. The law of attraction. That's old. Those are old laws established thousands of years ago. People were using this already. And this is now, again, creeping back into the society as people become unplugged from the disillusionment of man law and man rule. Every once in a while, the empires topple because all of the disillusionment or whatever, or the mirage of total power by one man starts to erode. The people start to say, they stop looking to men, governments, kingships, popes, and they start to now look within because they say something is not right here. Who put you in charge of us? Why are you over us when you are just as corrupt and as fallible as any other man out here? How did you get up there and I'm down here underneath you? You see? And that what they call a great awakening. And then all of a sudden, 200, 300 years later, there's a darkness, or what do we say? What's that period of time? There's a great awakening. There's a dark ages, right? Where information, knowledge, and everything, like the eclipse, the light is put out, like Corona, Corona virus. The Corona was, to me, symbolic, because what is a Corona? A Corona is basically the eclipsing of the eclipse of the sun, where it puts the light out. The light is symbolic of knowledge and understanding. And then that happens in 2020, which is perfect vision, sight, 2020. They put the light out so that you didn't have perfect vision in 2020 at the outpouring, the great awakening. I'm just saying, this stuff gets good and it's going to get much better. So stay tuned. I hope you're along with me on this journey. It gets greater later. Next week, we're going to start adding things to our consecration. So we intensify our disciplines and more meditation. We're going to scale back on how much we intake as far as food, because a lot of us are just overeating. Where you're only supposed to eat to get satisfied. You're not supposed to eat to your tummy. Your stomach is tight. That's the American way, because we're gluttonous, quite frankly. That's why I look at me. I am not overweight, right? I'm not overweight. I'm all right for 47. I'm okay. But guess what my doctor told me? He said, you're going to come back, not, did you say obese or overweight? I said, what? He said, yeah, you're going to come back that way. That's just how the medical doctors in the West, that's how the system comes back. Because if you don't meet these criteria, like this, your body mass and all that kind of stuff doesn't come back, then you're considered obese or overweight. I was taken back by that. But my point is that we don't eat for satisfaction anymore. We eat for flavor, for taste. And that's why they put all the flavor enhancers in your food, right? To keep you eating it. All right. With that being said, I hope that you take something from this, but consider that they already had this stuff. Everything that we're practicing right now, there's somebody that has already mastered it in the elite realm. And they practice this stuff. That's why they sit at the top of nations. That's why they have the things that they have, because they have that esoteric information that you were perhaps never afforded. You had a public school education, but you didn't have the education of the Eastern doctrines and what have you, where you were schooled in the art of attraction, the 48 or 51 laws of power. I forget what it's called, what the number is, but you know what I'm talking about. All of those laws, all right, that lend you success if employed. All of those disciplines, you weren't schooled in that. You were schooled in a public school education. All right. With that being said, hopefully that hits home. Hopefully you do something about it. 15 minutes or 16 minutes. Oh, I'm 1 minute late. All right. We'll see you on the next upload right here. Peace.